Hello, I'm Sheriff Chad Bianco, and welcome back to the RSO Roundup. Today I have with me a special guest, Lieutenant Ken Reichel from the San Jacinto Sheriff Station. Ken and I have known each other for quite some time, and not only is he here to talk about San Jacinto, but specifically we're going to talk today about flock camera system that a lot of our cities and HOAs and businesses are going to, but thankfully, the Board of Supervisors approved the purchase of a whole bunch of cameras for our unincorporated area so we can start playing on the same page with all of the cities that have it.
I think we got 260 cameras today for the county areas.
That's fantastic. And we are going to work with our cities to strategically place them on different roadways going in and out of cities and in and out of our unincorporated areas to make sure we get the most coverage.
Yes, our contract cities went to these about a year ago. A few of our contract cities and some of our municipal partners went to the system, and we're going to work with them so that we have an overlay of both systems so that they're working together. Kind of a great partnership between the local PDs, our contract cities, and the county areas.
Outstanding. So for everyone else out there, you all know that I am very much pro law enforcement, proactivity, arrest the bad guys, and that's how you reduce crime. We don't want to be the law enforcement agency that just responds to the 911 calls. We want to go out there and actually catch them either before they commit the crime or immediately right after, rather than this long, detailed investigation.
And this system does that. I mean, just in San Jacinto alone in the last year, we've made 189 arrests related to these cameras. We've recovered 162 stolen vehicles, about $1 million stolen vehicle value, and that's from January to September. So
we aren't even
9
through
months.
a year
We're
yet.
not even through a year yet, and we're making those kind of numbers.
That's fantastic. So for everyone out there that's watching and listening, the flock system is not new technology. It's a camera system that monitors license plates. It's a license plate reader, basically,
Correct.
But it's on steroids.
Oh, it's incredible. The platform that they use, the software they use, is super effective. We're getting great results, and You hear a lot of people talk about, a bias and different things. This just takes it out. Like, we know the car that goes through the area. We're not looking for every white car. We now know if a white car is involved in a crime, we're going through the camera system, we're finding the right car, we're identifying a plate, and we're stopping the right people. We're not having to do this massive, throw the fishnet out and try to stop all white cars. We know the exact car, and it's super effective at helping us do that.
What I loved about this so much when we originally, now this is a long time coming. We've been doing this in San Jac for a little bit over a year, right?
Just about a year, yeah. Where we went live in October of 2020. So we've had it all of 2021.
Kind of like a testing phase where we were trying them out, seeing how they work, figuring out what it was. And when I originally found these cameras and you had me out there and hooked it up to my cell phone and I'm driving around getting all these hits of stolen cars, it really intrigued me, and it's like, we've got to have this, because the bottom line is I want to make this county the absolute safest we possibly can, the lowest crime rates we could possibly have. And the fact of most, if not all, crimes all involve a vehicle.
Yes.
They either drive a vehicle to commit the crime, they escape in a vehicle, they steal a vehicle, they're driving around in a stolen vehicle. Vehicles play a huge part in crime because you've got to transport yourself from one place to another. You're not driving from a city in San Bernardino into the county of Riverside on a bicycle to commit crimes.
And it's unfortunate. So our witnesses, they see these vehicles after they commit these crimes, and they get a partial plate, or they get a bumper sticker, or they get just a color of a vehicle, and that's not much that we can actually. That's not actionable intelligence that we can actually go out and make an arrest on. Without the system.
Right.
So with this system, we now get a partial plate of a color of a vehicle, a bumper sticker, and we're able to go back through the cameras, look at the vehicles that are in our area, and make intelligent decisions of what vehicles we're going to go after, and we identify suspects, and we put people in jail.
Yeah, and it's the technology is just amazing. It's instantaneous response to our car systems, our cell phones, a laptop, whatever it was. I know when I was out there driving around, I think you were in the station on your laptop, and you just kept texting me saying, "You're missing it. You're missing another one. You're missing another one."
Oh yeah, we get about 5 or 6 hits a day, all on either a stolen vehicle, stolen plate. But the cool part is that our deputies are able to create lists of their own. So, for instance, just last night, we had a car-to-car shooting. A suspect was firing rounds at another vehicle. We had a witness. He gave us a partial license plate and a vehicle description. Before, we couldn't do anything with that. Last night, the deputies got on the system immediately in their cars in the field, identified the suspect vehicle from that partial plate, and then they were able to create what they call a custom hot list, put the vehicle into the system, and about 3 hours later, the vehicle's popping up on our cameras. We're getting alerts, and we're making a car stop. And we get the suspect in custody, on top of not only finding ammunition that was used in the crime, we got about a pound and a half of methamphetamine, and someone who was on felony probation in custody.
So this isn't not just that shooting. This is multiple crimes that these people are involved in.
Absolutely.
And so we have eliminated quite a few future crimes that we would have eventually had to respond to anyway.
And yes, and there's no way to tell. I mean, we do know that criminals tend to commit crimes, and they can commit crimes throughout their career of being a crimey. And we have no idea how much we're stopping, but we are definitely stopping crime.
Absolutely. So I want to talk just a little bit for people out there that I know with a camera, you throw cameras out there, and the first thing that we get and the first questions we get is that whole big brother mentality that we're watching you and the privacy and everything else. To dispel all of those rumors and that bad information, this is just it's basically a camera that's mounted on poles or on buildings. It can be anywhere. HOAs are using them. It can be inside parking lots. It can be on a freeway, a highway, anywhere where vehicles are traveling. And the camera is just picking up the shape and what a license plate looks like. We all know what a license plate looks like. And the way it was described to me is it's like intelligent camera. So it's learning as it goes also about sizes and shapes. And so it's picking that license plate, reading that license plate, where old technology, it had to be that metallic material, that reflective material. And so if you had a paper plate or if they sprayed something on it, it would defeat that. Right. And this doesn't happen anymore.
No, these are rear facing cameras. So they're picking up the rear of the vehicle. They're picking up vehicle the build or the size of the vehicle, and it's measuring. So the computer is actually machine learning, and they do all the analytics within their software, and it can tell you, well, this is a Ford, this is a Mazda, this is a Lexus, and it's that smart. Computers are just that smart, the algorithms.
So for people out there that are listening, it's common for us that on a stolen vehicle, it's got a license plate on it that does not belong to the vehicle. Correct. So they go out and commit a crime, and we have a license plate, and the witnesses are adamant that it is a Ford Mustang, blue Ford Mustang, but yet the license plate says it's on a 82 Datsun.
Right.
I mean, we obviously lost right there.
Right.
And there's nothing for us to go on. But this can find, because it's learning, it can search for that Ford Mustang, that year of Ford Mustang, based on distance of taillights and everything else.
Yes.
And it has nothing to do with taking a picture of a driver. We don't know who the driver is in these cameras. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're not going through the front windshield. We're not looking at driver activity. We're looking at basically different angles from the back of the vehicle, identifying the vehicle itself, not the driver.
Right. So the fears of Big Brother that we're out looking at you and taking pictures of you just doesn't exist. We're only interested in the vehicle, and we really only care about your vehicle if you committed a crime.
Correct.
Or if it was stolen, and we need to recover that for you.
Yeah. On top of that, just a little extra for the public, it's only storing the data for 30 days. We're not maintaining a database of your activities. We're not tracking your movements. We're not following you around. None of that is occurring. The information's in the cloud for 30 days.
So the good part about that is we can go, I think we've used this in crimes that have been a series of crimes, serial criminals that are doing multiple burglaries in different cities, and we're able to go back and say, wait a minute, that one we had in San Jacinto is the same one that they had in Menifee, Murrieta, somewhere, Corona, and we can go back within 30 days, and we can match that and see if it's in the same.
Our crime analysts are loving this. It is their dream. They have all of this information. They're able to go back through, track all that information, tie vehicles to different crimes, and they go, oh, and they're communicating with each other, and they go, this one goes over here, that one goes over there, and we're linking all of these big crimes together. I think we just did it maybe a week and a half ago with the city or the area of Paris, or the city of Paris, and San Jacinto and Hemet with some home invasion robberies where people were entering homes with guns and stealing jewelry, and we were able to track that all down and tie it all together with the system, and it worked out really well.
That's awesome. So when we first started this, we did the pilot. We worked out the kinks and got everybody learned up on how to do it and what they're looking for and how to read your phone and your computer system in our cars. What was the first, when we went live, what was the first crime that we got?
This was a big one. So we had a car-to-car shooting in the city of San Jacinto, and luckily for the victim, but unfortunately for the victim also, his poodle was in the back seat, and his poodle was struck by gunfire and ultimately died from being shot. But good for us, the system was in place, and we were able to backtrack the victim's vehicle. We were able to capture the suspect vehicle following the victim, identified the suspects, and we were able to make an arrest. So at least we had some closure. He did lose his dog, which was horrific for that victim. But we got the bad guy in jail that day.
So the first time we go live, and the first thing that we're dealing with basically kind of like a license plate reader, for lack of better things to call it, but the first crime we solve is an attempted homicide.
Yes.
It's fantastic. And I know since then, on several of our cities, just the cameras in San Jacinto have solved homicides from other jurisdictions.
Correct. Criminals have no boundaries. We have jurisdictional boundaries. We stay, communities and cities, they have their PDs, and they're thankfully with the sheriff's department we're a little bit larger, but we have our boundaries. But criminals don't. They travel, they traverse the different streets. So we tend to have we have criminals in our jurisdiction that happen to be in the Hemet PD or Palm Springs PD, and we're able to help them out also. This is great.
And with that, I've been working very hard since the very beginning of my tenure as sheriff with our chiefs of police, and we have a fantastic relationship.
Yes.
Between them and me, and we are already working with their cities and with their departments to implement these flock camera systems in multiple municipality jurisdictions within our county, as well as all of our contract cities. So it's not going to be very long before you commit a crime in Riverside County. We're going to find you, and we're going to find you in short order. Absolutely.
This is going to be a huge network for us to solve crimes, and it's great. Like if you're a cop on the street that likes to put bad guys in jail, this is the place you want to be, because we have the tools to do that kind of work.
That's fantastic. The ultimate end game of what we really want to do is eliminate crime. We talk about proactivity and how we're going to do a better job and use technology to do it, rather than just keep adding hundreds and hundreds of deputies. The job that this system does takes away having to add potentially 30, 40 deputies in San Jac just so we can, and we just monitor them with the cameras to solve these crimes.
It's a force multiplier. I mean, you're putting cameras on the street that don't require breaks, that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't get tired. They don't fall asleep. They don't need to take a break to go to eat. And they're there. They're capturing images, and we're able to do so much more with this little tool. And it's just great.
It's fantastic. The flock system, it's our newest addition to our arsenal. We're unbelievably excited about it. We got it started first in San Jacinto. We've rapidly moved it to other areas of the county with our contract cities.
Yes.
And now the county, the Board of Supervisors has approved us within our budget to buy these and add these. So we are unbelievably excited about it. We're unbelievably excited to help you. And I appreciate you joining us to talk about this.
Thank you for having me.
So until next time for everyone, thanks for joining the Roundup.